Today, I'm going to be talking about my research project. In this project, I explored music in early childhood education. Music, as we call ongaku in Japanese, and it means enjoying sounds and notes. Children naturally enjoy exploring music, including singing, dancing, making sounds, and playing musical instruments in their daily activities. Music encourages efficiently and meaningfully their social and emotional, intellectual, and physical development. The early years of learning framework and the Australian curriculum emphasize the importance of children's engagement in arts, including music, as an important communication tool in early childhood settings. In addition, many professionals in early childhood education, including Pestalozzi, Montessori, Steiner, Frovel, and Lowell, argue that music should be a core part of curriculums, and as such, musical training is essential for educators. However, music is not always considered a core subject, and many educators have a lack of self-confidence when it comes to teaching music. This is caused by a lack of musical training across Australia as well as other countries. The purpose of this research is to explore how early childhood educators incorporate music education in the programming and implement in their everyday practices. This will be based on early childhood participants' experiences in order to explore and investigate whether their confidence, behaviors, and knowledge levels influence creation of their musical curriculums and programs. Not working. 12 responses from participants were corrected in total, but 90% of them are female educators working in either private or non-profit childcare centers. A half of participants are working as casual educators, followed by permanent educator with 33%, 16% of part-time educators. Most educators work with children more than 1 to 3 years and have experienced music education in either high school or university. Estimated level of music knowledge appears to be low, with 58% choosing this option, followed by good with 25% and high with 60%. More than half of educators recognize music in early childhood education is important for children's learning. The finding indicated that educators who chose strongly disagree or I don't know have experienced working with children for less than 3 years. Also, they answered that they did not have a music experience in their higher education, such as college or university. In other words, educators who work with children more than 4 years appear to be more likely to recognize the importance of music education in early childhood. Half of the educators answered sometimes when asked about having confidence in both everyday practices and creating programs. The finding also shows that the educators have confidence in their everyday music practices to the degree that 33% of them answered strongly agree. Teaching music techniques cannot always be done easily by educators, as they answered sometimes in this question. Half the number of educators answered sometimes, and the other answers spread from strongly agree to strongly disagree. Although the educators chose sometimes in this question, they answered agree to the questions that they have confidence in music knowledge for teaching children music. Most educators are likely to provide children opportunities to express themselves with various music experiences. The educator who chose strongly disagree answered that they did not enjoy or like teaching music and did not provide them opportunities to have experiences with various sounds, with songs and stories. I corrected observations about the educator's implementation, engagement, and creation of music education in both the preschool room and nursery room for 6 weeks in a one center where I worked as a permanent casual. So week 1 and week 2, the nursery room usually has 2 or 3 group times where educators sing familiar songs such as a good morning song, days on the week, and some nursery rhymes with finger or hand motion for young children to participate in group time every day. In their program, the music experiences were not necessarily mentioned. However, when it comes to project, they will put some songs or music activities which are related to their project in the curriculum. The educators play Wiggles or pop music from YouTube when children were outside or also in the evening, nearly picking up time every day. The educators in preschool room don't specifically create music, dance and movement programs for children. The educators play music from YouTube for a half hour in group time these 2 weeks. Also, the educators spontaneously played pop music such as songs from Disney when the children asked them to play music outside. During the time, the educators encouraged all children to participate in dance and movement in outside areas throughout this week. In the group time, the educator used a big screen for children to see and listen to the video and songs for a half hour in the morning and evening group time. The educator did not appear to sing some songs with children throughout these weeks. In week 3 and week 4, the educators in the nursery room incorporate music experiences in group time as usual routine for these 2 weeks too. Also, the educators continue to play Wiggle or pop music from YouTube when children were outside and also in the evening every day. Sometimes educators sat down with some children and sang songs when the room was getting busy, but some educators appeared to either have lacked confidence or did not want to sing, relying on play music from YouTube instead. In the preschool room, the educators played songs which are related to their project, such as songs about fruits, vegetables, and other food in the group time. However, these music experiences in group times are not mentioned in the programs. Also, the educators used an iPad and a speaker for children to participate in music, dance, and movement outside 3 times in these 3 weeks. In week 5 and week 6, in the nursery room, educators have music experience as usual routine and play Wiggle pop music from YouTube as usual. One educator told me that they had a music teacher every Friday before COVID, so that the educator did not need to think about incorporating music experiences into their curriculum before. Now they find it difficult and challenging to provide and teach children music experiences or activities, especially as babies and toddlers are very busy every day. The educators in preschool continues not creating music, dance, and movement programs for children. The educator played music from YouTube for more than half hour during group time over these 2 weeks. One educator sang a song, If All the Words Were Paper, which appeared to be teacher directed in the group time several times these weeks. This is the first time educators were involved in singing in the group time since my research observations were collected. Each educator has a different background in music education, including working experiences, gender, their own music experience, their role, and where they work. Most educators appear to recognize music in early childhood education as an important part of children's learning. However, the result shows that some educators did not identify music as a crucial subject in children's development. The educators who responded that music education is essential in early childhood have experienced working with children less than 3 years. In addition, they did not have their own music experiences in their higher education. In other words, educators who work with children more than 4 years appear to be more likely to recognize the importance of music education in early childhood and have rich music experiences in their own education. According to Baker, the educator who had experienced a lack of musical experience in their own education are more likely to have a lack of musical knowledge, skills, and understanding of themselves in music education. And this can leave them less capable in that area than in other areas of learning. Most educators are likely to provide children opportunities to express themselves with their various music experiences, but the educator who responded that they did not provide children opportunities with a range of music experience also answered that they did not enjoy or like teaching music, did not provide them opportunity to experiences with various sounds, songs, and stories. This can be evidence that educators' behavior, knowledge, and confidence in teaching music and theoretical aspects of music are essential in supporting children's development and learning with confidence. From observations, there is so much technology involved in everyday music practices. Both nursery and preschool rooms use an iPad, speaker, or big screen to play music for children to participate in music, dance, and body movement learning. This can bring as an issue that music education in childcare service is still limited to playing music from YouTube for children to listen to, dance, and sing nursery rhymes to them. Although many researchers have indicated and recognized the value of music education in early childhood settings and its links to educators' behavior and motivation towards teaching music, music education was not allocated as a significant part of everyday practice. In fact, the result of the observations demonstrated that educators can be seen playing music from YouTube for young children every day instead of using their low voice and interaction with children, especially with older children. Use of these kind of technologies could be more accessible and easier for educators to use in their daily practices. Singing and using their raw voices are things rarely to be seen in these 6 weeks. Besides, the educator mentioned they found it difficult and challenging to provide and teach children music experiences or activities, especially babies and toddlers who are very busy every day. This issue could be identified as being caused by a lack of confidence, knowledge, and skills in music education, which lead them to avoid singing songs with children, teaching music, and incorporating music in their curriculum as an important part of children's learning. This research project has indicated that early childhood educators recognize the importance of music in children's learning and development. It also has identified that educators' working experiences and all musical experiences in education can determine their self-confidence level towards music education in teaching. The result affirmed that improvement and need for more study in and support for the arrangement of musical experts to be involved for early childhood educators in order to help them their musical skills to be improved and create effective curriculum for children. Such studies could involve reflection of research presented here with a wider sample and exploring further components of pre-service educators in music education training programs in Australia. I will recommend educators' lack of confidence needs to be clearly identified, and this can also be used for collaborative professional development with musical experts in a long-term effective way. This can help educators to build positive attitudes and confidence when it comes to use of their musical capabilities in teaching and everyday practices. Additionally, this kind of professional development with experts can open up their mind as well as leading them to positive change in their attitudes and confidence in their music abilities. It is important for educators to be confident as they can be role model for children.